Tina broke this for me, y'all. Look, welcome. Oh my gosh. So I have the wonderful Tina here. I'm super excited. I'm just so happy that she is here. My name is Michelle Lenore, and I help executives, small businesses really take their professionalism to the next level. This is through diversity, this is through leadership, this is through government certifications, a lot of things that's out there. But the ultimate goal is where you are now, let's take you up a couple of notches up higher. And so, of course, as you see, Tina Piccone, I put her information down here. She is on LinkedIn. Like, if you need to know what she's doing, is on LinkedIn. She is an executive from Google. She is my friend. She is a business mentor. And we'll talk a little bit about that, how we connected. And we're going to talk about the outage about AT&T today. So technology, diversity and technology. So Tina, tell us a little bit about you.
All right. Well, I have been in the tech industry since dinosaurs roamed the earth. So that's the fun part. And I think the other fun thing is, I love technology. I love being able to help people. And I love being able to connect with people like you, Michelle. You are always my favorite. And being able just to have real, honest conversations, because we don't have those anymore. We tend to hide behind everything when instead we should just say, here's what we're doing. Here's how we're doing it. Let me help you. And I think part of it is we don't help each other anymore. And this industry is way too small, way too connected. And we've got to get together. So real fast, I was at AT&T for about 18 years, Fidelity Investments, Chief Operating Officer, and on to RTI International, a nonprofit where I was the CIO. And now I've been at Google almost 4 years. So it's been quite the tech journey and lots of fun and friends along the way. And that's what's number one, kept me energized and going every step of the way.
Yeah, see, that's like, did y'all hear that? Like, which is wonderful. So the first thing we're going to talk about, and I know it's not on our list, but this morning, we have found out that there was an outage with AT&T, and with you being in the tech space, what was happening behind the scenes? Well, I'm sure everybody was like,
yeah, exactly. People were like, well, the first thing everybody did, right? You got up and you started checking your device. I mean, we're creatures of habit now. We get up, we see who's, after focus time is off and sleep time, we get up and we see who's texted and who has done this, or you go to play Wordle on the New York Times, all the normal things. And your phone says SOS. And you're like this, what happened? And immediately it says AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, all experiencing outages. Now, my Google phone never went off, by the way. Just putting it out there. That was a plug. But everything else, my personal phone, because remember, I've been at AT&T forever, doesn't still work right now. And so the one thing that makes you start thinking is, how am I going to get to work? I can't drive. I don't have maps. So what happened to the normal human beings that we used to know where to go everywhere because we didn't have and be attached to our iPhones? But now we are attached, and it just became a dumb phone today. So when you think about it, for those who don't remember, 4 days ago, they actually had in the news, very public, that there was going to be a cyber attack coming out of China. Now, not saying this is related, just saying when you start seeing some of the trends and the key trends that are happening in the industry, one has to wonder, is it connected? And at the time, all of AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile are spending all of their energy and all of their tech teams trying to figure out how to get people back online, because that is the number one thing, because they know the longer they're off, two things happen. One, you're going to want to leave the carrier that doesn't work. And second, 911 service actually went out. So they're responsible for making sure that even that network's up, and yet that went down in certain areas across the country, which means life-saving technologies can't get to those people. So because of that, it just becomes even more so dependent on the technology that at times becomes extraordinarily disruptive. And let me tell you, there are nefarious people out there. I'd love to say the world is full of absolutely wonderful humans, but there are some that are out to literally spend all their time figuring out how to hack into different things. And we just have to be prepared. And so for those who haven't updated their phone to the latest security upgrades, get out there and update your phones.
See, right. I mean, and you just mentioned something like everybody were, like they got the warning. And when we're talking about teamwork in groups, like how important is it to have the not only just the different departments working together, but having those diverse groups working in tech? Because like this morning, I didn't know anything about it because I don't have AT&T. But my daughter's friend was like, I have this interview that I need to go to. AT&T is down. I don't know how to get there. And you mentioned like how do we do it before? So I was able to give him some instruction on, first of all, use the data that you have at home. Well, not the data, the internet that you have at home. Use your parents' um, internet, print it out, or send it to your email. And then once you pull it up on your phone, as long as you're on their internet, that it will download on your phone. You just can't go in and out like you usually do. And he was like, wow, I didn't know I could do that. You'd be like, well, back in the day, it's like, so even something like that as being a mom, being a woman, that was my personal experience. So again, how important it is to have those diversity background to resolve a huge issue that's happening today.
Agreed. And I mean, so smart of you knowing what to do, how to articulate it. And I mean, uh, most people just freeze up on things like this. And, it's so funny. We're going to, I know, talk about all of the different AI technologies out there later. But when you think about it, it's sometimes as simple as things that people grapple with because, again, they don't know how to take the first step forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And the barrier is huge. So for you, because you've been in Fortune 500 companies and in the tech space, and and we're talking about diversity. It's February. We're going into March when it's Women International Month or Women's Month. I clump it all as one. It's all one.
It's all one. We had Black History Month this month for those who missed it. And it's still going on to the end of the year. And then we go into the Women's Month. I keep laughing. I was like, we have all these months, but I don't remember getting any, gifts from any of them. I'm just putting it out there. Did you?
Look, no, it's like, and this is important because I was speaking to a young man and he had mentioned like him and his wife. He was like, we have months, but I'm this every month. It doesn't matter. That doesn't change. And so just even moving into that, how hard is it for people of color, women to really have executive voices and spaces within the tech field?
100%. And, when you look at it, you and I've been in tech forever. You've been in tech adjacent forever. And it's extraordinarily hard. And I remember people always said, my gosh, how did you survive the telcos and being a woman in leadership? And I said, my dad always gave me this advice when I was little. He goes, you're going to have to be 1 second smarter, 1 second faster, and you're going to have to be 1 notch higher in education than any other man that you experience. And the reason is you're going to have to put your best foot forward every single moment or you'll never win. And I remember that because I had brothers and he was so true. And he said, you've got to be able to think differently and be able to do it in a way that isn't going to, because otherwise, people will say, gosh, you're too bossy or you're too this or you're too that. They put labels on me. So, but he gave lots of life lessons. I will never forget my brothers locked me in the attic. I know these days we'd all go to jail, but he locked me. They locked me in the attic. And my dad, I will never forget this life lesson, and it involves tech. So this is where it's going to come back to. He said, you have 2 choices. You can either engineer the heck out of how to get out of this attic if it happens again, or you can get a book and a flashlight and read till I get back. What's your choice? Well, of course, I engineered the heck out of it.
Right.
Made sure I got out of the attic. But it was a life lesson. Every time that I do anything, it's how to think differently if I'm stuck. And a lot of times, when you look at AI and you look at which technology we should utilize, companies have a paralysis because they just don't know the first step to take because they just can't think, what do I do? And you've got to look at things from different perspectives. And I think that's where diversity plays such a key role, is that you need the diversity of thought to be able to have a different lens on a problem or a situation. And we're not doing that well yet.
No, that is so true because I was teasing somebody, it's like AI is like really, really huge now. And it's like I'm like, AI is like a woman. You give us an idea, and say, hey, Michelle, I want to go ahead and I want to sell shoes. I'm going to give you a whole list. Like, well, what type of shoes? Are they running shoes? Are they for men or for women? Which age group are they for? It's like culturally, where are they supposed to be wearing these shoes? Like, without, so it's like boom, 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 boom. And because our brains are like that, the diversity is really important, when it comes to the revenue. And when we look at the revenue portion of things, it's shown in Forbes, it's shown in McKinsey, it's so many stats that's out there that says the more diverse groups that you have within the executive space, we want to have diversity throughout the whole company. The more that you get in profits, the more that you get in revenue, the more that you get in great ideas. It's like, so what can you tell us when it is time to get on the board of directors, or when it's time to go for that C-suite position? Like, what do we need to do so they can actually hear our voice and our value?
100, great question, but you're right. It's you have to think of yourself now as a marketing department. And you have to be able to look at the value you bring and the business insights you can provide, and be able to articulate it to where people have to say, I want you. And you have to be able to articulate that story very fast. And I'll give you an example. It used to be you have to do your 30-second elevator pitch. And it went from 60 seconds to 45 to 30. And I used to laugh when I was at AT&T, the executives were I reported to the top, and they were on the 45th floor. But because of fire safety hazards, they moved them to the 4th floor. So my longer elevator ride became a very short elevator ride, and I had to articulate all my points in 20 seconds or less, to where it was a hook that people wanted to know more. And I think that's the biggest thing, is you've got to determine the hook to get people to say, this is why I need you. And this is what your value is, to being able to bring different insights, different thought perspectives, and different opinions into the boardroom and into the workplace. And that's what we have to learn to articulate and do it very well. There is no one better at you than being able to turn that around and saying, here's how you do it. And I think that's the key advantage that people don't realize. CIOs are no longer CIOs. They are marketing departments first, that have to market their advantage, because they are a cost drain and a suck on a business, if you think about it. And you have to market why you need funding, and you're not a business unit that is getting any revenue in. So you're going to have to now market why you need cybersecurity tools, or you're going to have to market why you need the latest in technology that will be able to handle AI, for example. What are you doing that's going to be different in your data center than another? So when you think about it, you've got to be able to bring in all those different perspectives, but do it in a very quick amount of time, and market the heck out of it, and sell the idea to where the board, the CEO, and everybody under you is going to want to follow you to heaven and back. I used to say hell and back, and I've decided I'm not going there. So to heaven and back.
That is so fun. No, but this is true. When it came to the point where you talked about cybersecurity, I had a guest on a few weeks ago, and that's what she was talking about, the importance of cybersecurity and being proactive and not reactive. Because I know we see it within the tech space. It's like, okay, you downsize cybersecurity, and then you're like, oh my gosh, like this happened, so let's bring everybody up, up to par. And again, like you said, it's like selling yourself. So this is really, really imperative. Technology is in every industry. It doesn't matter where you're at. I had on the post here that last year, fiscal year, the government had utilized technology. It was not 70. It was $95 billion. Okay, I'm gonna say that for everybody else again. $95 billion. And when we look at the government, that 95 of those $1 billion being certified as a minority, as a woman, as a disadvantaged business, that the government should be giving between three, depending on if it's local or if it's federal, 3% all the way to 23%, or they can give more, but it's by the government, the standards of the government, from 3 to 23% of that $1 billion. And now this is for minorities. So if you're saying, you know what, they don't need us, they do. Because first of all, it's in the laws. So let's get that right. It's in the contracts. This is important. And I know, one of the things that Google is doing, they're really, I believe they're meeting and exceeding those expectations of making sure that they have the diverse groups within Google, so Google can be, the best there is.
Well, and you think about it, in Google, it's concentrated effort, and it does take effort. And, I hear sometimes, gosh, I can't find a diverse candidate. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you, under a rock? My network is huge, and finding those diverse unicorns is what I specialize in. But, it goes back to also, Michelle, one thing that, I'll touch on. You've got to keep up with your network when you don't even need your network. And I think that's something we're all guilty of. We don't reach out to each other enough because we get busy during the days, and we don't think, let me just drop a line and say, hey, how are you doing? Just want to say I'm thinking of you. Let's get together next time. But we don't do that enough. And then when a cyber attack occurs, or you have a problem and you're desperate to get an answer, they won't remember your name and number. So
Right.
you've got to work those contacts before you have an issue. And I think there are many, many times that we just don't do that well. And even while we're on the phone, my phone's been, my one that's working, has been blowing up. And the one thing is, the pharmacies were just hit. By the way, it keeps going off. The pharmacies were just hit with a cybersecurity attack. So now they're saying, you may not be able to pick up your prescriptions.
Wow.
So as these are concentrated attack after attack. And the one thing I will tell you with AI coming out, some people say it's extremely scary. I'm not going to deny that. Look, but we were doing creepy back in 2012. Let's think about it. The technology has been around. The consumers being able to want to utilize it and not have that fear factor is just now catching up. But if you think about it, if you have a technology tool, and it is a tool, it's not the end all be all, but if you have a tool that can be able to go out and check the network to make sure if there's a cyber attack or what's going on in your data centers, if you're utilizing the tools in a way that's going to be helpful, imagine it is a game changer back for every company and every CIO and person that is sitting in technology to say, hey, we've checked the network and we're all good.
I love that. And even when you're talking about, as your phone is buzzing, because I know it is because of everything that's happening, that also helps with the diversity in tech is our children. You got TikTok, you got this, you got that. And I would have to say that my children, they keep me up to date on a lot of things that I wouldn't stay up to date on. And I know that's important, that value is needed within all companies, and then also when you have the baby boomers and, everybody, that we can say, we've seen this is what we've done. So that experience, partnered up with that quickness, and this is the platform we're using. All of this is important. And I love how you said AI was out for a while. We were running around like, what? But when we look at our Gen Zs and the millennials, they were like, bring it. We need it. Come on. What took y'all so long?
Right? And if you think about it this morning, so I'll give you an example of how our kids keep up with things better than we do. First thing, when the phones went out, my daughter immediately FaceTimes and goes, hey, Mom, you don't have to worry about it. You can FaceTime on as long as, you're connected to the internet. And I was like, thank you for that reminder, right? But they are constantly thinking, how do I pivot? What do I do? What do I do next? And we need that mindset. We need that innovation, that excitement, and that thrill of, let me see how to engineer the heck out of this to make it work. And it goes back to being in the attic. How do you look at things differently? And the younger generation, boy, they are right there to say, "This, have you thought of this? Have you tried that?" I did laugh though, because
People like, your mom's in tech,
yeah,
right?
right. I know that's the fun part. Like every now and again, I'm like, but they do sometimes surprise me, I must admit. And I'm like, I hadn't even thought about that. And we have to be able to reach it. And then you think of, my 90-plus-year-old mother who technology is not her friend. And, you have the other spectrum. So how do we reach that generation and be able to make it non-scary for them, but at the same time, give them the tools that they're going to need to go about their day and to do everything they're doing. So, and, like with my mom, I keep her on my phone to where if I need to find her, I can find her quick, and she'll always go in. And the only thing she can manage to do is turn that off. She can't manage to do anything else, but she can turn off that location device. I'm like, really?
You're not going to find out where I'm at. Sorry, sweetie. You like, what? So now, right now, like, does Google have any type of programs and things for disease or for the younger people or just for anyone in technology? It's like, what you guys got going? I know you always got something going on. What do you guys got going on?
Oh, absolutely. So if y'all go out to Google, you're able to take lots of training for free. So I just want to iterate that we have training programs that you can get up to speed on. What is AI? You can get up to speed on different, what is cloud computing, all different tech advice that we have. If you're graduating college and you want an internship, go out and look at our internships. We have an amazing program where we're bringing in the young at all times to be able to come in. But absolutely, I want every single person should take advantage of all the free tools that are out there from all the tech companies. I mean, yes, I work at Google and I'm going to always promote that, but you have them through every single company if you take advantage and utilize. And so often we find nobody's signing up. And
Wow.
it just is, to me, just baffling. I go out and take the training. I don't ever want to be behind.
Yeah.
And so I go and get a nano degree just about every 6 months. And people are like, why? And I'm like, because I can. I want to constantly learn. Somebody's going to teach me something I didn't know. I mean, I was just with a guest lecture at Cornell a couple weekends ago. It's how I do fun on the weekends. And look, I learned more from the kids than I swear they must have learned from me. And I'll be at High Point coming up University in March and Campbell in April. This is where I'm not only giving back, but I'm learning as they are. And it's that constant interaction that makes it fun and keeps you right in the game to be able to understand what's coming next. And I think that's so critical and important.
No, I absolutely love that because, you about LinkedIn, update, with your network. So you guys go out there, like you said, first of all, I need to connect or follow with, on LinkedIn. Like I said, that's a reminder. And then also to check out Google, like you said, the free opportunities that's out there. Once you do the class, go back out to LinkedIn, update your information, and connect with others so they know that this is what you're doing. So Tina, thank you so much for being a part of this. We talk all things diversity. It's next levels, next stuff. But you guys, we will see you later, and you guys have just a wonderful, wonderful day. AT&T, I hope everything goes up.
I'm telling you, Michelle, you're the best.
All right, bye-bye.